Salve to 8th grade, and welcome to part 2 of our video for the Stage 5 model sentences. So at this point, you should have gone through and translated each of these sentences in your Latin notebook, again, using blue or black ink and leaving some space for corrections if needed. So at this point, we're going to just walk through the translations for each sentence. You're going to follow along, make corrections in your translations as needed, and then once you finish that, you will take a picture of your completed translations and email those to me. Make sure you get those to me by next Monday, so you have this done before then. So that is the plan. So let's get started. In via, in the street. Now, via can be translated as street or road. I'm going to use street for the purposes of this video, but if in your translations you use road, that's completely fine as well. The dog is in the street. The dogs are in the street. The slave is in the street. The slaves are in the street. The girl is in the street. The girls are in the street. The boy is in the street. The boys are in the street. The merchant is in the street. The merchants are in the street. So what these are practicing are our singulars and plurals and comparing them. So you'll notice that our nouns, our Latin nouns, change right from their singular to their plural form. And then the verbs are changing as well. We have est as our singular verb is, and then sunt as our plural verb are, A-R-E. So that's what's going on here. Now, for my newer Latin students, something to keep in mind is you do need to add in the word the when you are translating. So if you didn't do that, make sure you go back and add that in. Latin does not have a separate word for the, so we have to supply it in the English. Now, for some of these, you don't really need the to make sense. For example, for the plurals, typically, you can just say dogs are in the street, and that's a completely correct English sentence. But just to get in the habit of making sure you know how to add in the word the in the English, that's always a good thing to practice. So, moving on to the next page. In the theater. The spectator is sitting in the theater. Now here we're seeing a different word order for my newer students again. And for those of you from last year who might not remember, Latin word order can be different from English word order. Most verbs like to be at the end of sentences, but when we translate them into English, we do need to make sure that we're keeping the English in a proper word order. So we're not going to say the spectator in the theater sits or is sitting. We also don't really want to say the spectator is in the theater sitting, because that actually functions a bit differently grammatically. So we do want to keep this verb as it is. So the spectator is sitting in the theater. You can also translate this as the spectator sits in the theater. Either one of those is correct. And that goes for all of the verbs in here. You can translate it as is verbing or just verbs, whatever the action is. So number 12, the spectators are sitting in the theater. The actor is standing on the stage. The actors are standing on the stage. The woman is watching. The women are watching. The old man is sleeping. The old men are sleeping. The young man is clapping or is applauding. The young men are applauding. All right, and again, it's just practicing those singular to plural changes, which we actually see in our grammar for this week. So if you haven't watched the grammar video for this week, you should definitely check that out, take some notes on it. It's just talking about practicing matching up our subjects with our verbs. So if our subject is plural, the verb needs to be plural also. So that's why you see both the noun, right, spectator to spectatores, that changes when it becomes plural. But then the verb changes as well. We get this T ending for our third person singular, he, she, or it, right? When we have just the one subject. And then in this one, when we have a plural subject, that becomes an NT ending for they. So that's what we're practicing in here. Again, take a look at the grammar video for kind of more specifics on the grammar. Make your corrections as needed on these sentences. Take a picture and email it to me so that I can give you credit for these sentences for this week. Please email me if you have any questions. If you want to schedule office hours for Monday, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful week and I will see you next time.